Hello and welcome to The Long View with me, Jon Jordan, where we play free-to-play mobile games for as long as we can and try and make sense of them. If you're into free-to-play mobile games, please do subscribe to the channel. In this video, I'm going to make some comments about Farmville 3. So Farmville 3 is the third third version of Farmville, currently in development from Zynga. It's been over a decade since the first Farmville game came along on Facebook. Obviously, a lot's changed since then. And this is the kind of the recreation, the reinvention of the game for kind of modern times, and it's pretty nice actually in many respects. Been playing it a couple of months now. It's been in soft launch, so it's not the kind of finished version of the game, but it's a pretty well-rounded version of the game. So most of the kind of core stuff's here. But yeah, and you can see I'm kind of what I call in kind of the mid kind of cycle of the game. So the early part of the game is really good, really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You level up very quickly. You unlock loads of new things. So particularly the animals is a big impact in the game. I mean, it's actually called Farmville 3 Animals. So you can see here some of the things I've started to unlock. So there's kind of pigs. I've got not that far into it. I've only got 5 different types of pigs, but as you kind of level up in the game, as you progress, you unlock these different types of pigs which do different things, and we end up here with the Red River, whatever that is, kind of pig that unlocks different production of potatoes by the looks of things. But there's lots going on with the animals, and also you have this kind of farm that you're kind of recreating and unlocking different bits. So when you get to level 19, you get the strawberry garden. I'm on level 14 at the moment, and I think the one thing in the game that's kind of become pretty clear to me in the last kind of few levels is it does get really grindy at this point. Now, to a degree, free-to-play mobile games do tend to get grindy after the first kind of certainly the first few weeks, certainly the first month. It's supposed to be quite exciting and you're leveling up and all that kind of cool stuff, and then you get into a bit of a grind. Obviously these are free-to-play games, so one of the points is at this point, if you're really into the game, it encourages you to start spending money, which obviously these games are free, so at some point someone has to spend some players have to spend money or the game gets shut down. But I do kind of think at this stage it is get quite grindy. So there's two things that I've said. So there's unlocking new animals, which you do by filling up orders. So I have to kind of create things here. I have to create these orders, and they get sent off. And then as you can see here at the top of the screen, as that kind of a bar fills up, I get rewarded with animals. That's how you get animals. So I need to go in this case and create some planks. And then I will be able to fulfill this order here. So that takes a lot of time, and that kind of building is the basic loop of the game. So you're kind of growing these crops, and then you're creating feed for the animals. You're creating these kind of processed food types that then you use to build the actual items that you need to get the animals. That also gives you leveling up, and as you get kind of further into the game, you can unlock, say, level 17, the boat harbour. That sounds like that's going to be pretty cool. Level 26, there's lots of different levels. Level 27 there, so there's lots of kind of, you can see there's a lot of content, but it seems to be at the moment pretty dull. So I don't log in a lot every day, probably 2 or 3 times a day, just to kind of keep everything kind of ticking over. But it has got pretty boring, and I do think that this is can kind of be the problem with this type of game, where if they don't get the balance quite right, you kind of find that you kind of lose the thrill a little bit of what's going on in the game. So these trees I'm just kind of chopping down to get wood, and there's always something kind of to do. But one interesting thing here is you can see that at one point I had these three pig houses, but I've not got any pigs. I've only got 3 pigs at the moment. This can take a maximum of 6 pigs. And when you get new animals, if they're the same type, they'll kind of breed and make a new. So you can see this one here. These 2 chickens have bred, and they've created this little baby one which is growing up. And at a certain point, these animals will get too old, and then they get sold off, and then they'll kind of disappear. So there is this kind of timing aspect of the game. So there is kind of plenty going on there, but I just kind of feel it's a little bit slow, and it is kind of partly because all this stuff is indirect, so you can't go out actively and create animals. I mean, you can do it if you want to spend a lot of money to speed everything up. Then obviously that would work. But there's no, as far as unless I've totally missed something, there's no direct way of like basically just getting more animals. And you kind of go through these cycles. So you can see I've got enough chicken. I'm okay on chickens. I've got 3 chicken houses and I've got 5 chickens with 1 to go. Cow wise, I've got 3 cow pens, but one of those is missing. So at all these points you can see I've kind of had more animals. Get these stickers, which are basically items that you use to level stuff up faster. There's some of these boxes as well, which you have to use hard currency for, which I'm not doing. So I really am enjoying this game. This is the first kind of part of it in which I've got bored. And finding it a bit of a grind. I think, as I say, all free-to-play mobile games do have this as part of their flow. It's very hard to have a game always exciting. That's not part of human nature. But I do think this is something that's going to have to be tightened up a little bit, because this is the kind of place at which players will start churning out. The other thing to point out is I've not got involved in any of the social stuff. So we have 2 different things. We have a co-op, so I can join a co-op. Obviously, this is in soft launch, so it's not really kind of fully populated with loads of people. And this one, like you see, is actually not in English, so unlikely to join that one. So co-ops in this guilds, in this case called co-ops, are kind of interesting ways of keeping people excited about stuff and keep them playing in different ways. And also there is the social aspect, so I can log, typically, Facebook, Farmville known for spamming people on Facebook. Obviously can't do that anymore, but if the game was out and some of my friends were also playing on Facebook, they would have that. You would have that kind of experience. So those kind of two key aspects are not in the game, which also might make it a bit slower at the current in the current kind of pacing of it. But in general, I do kind of feel that kind of aspect needs to be tightened up a little bit. The other thing that's really annoying me while I'm on things that annoy me, actually, can I even do it? Probably can't. Is can't do it, can I? Oh yeah, I can do it here. Is you see this little toggle button? So when you get too many items, obviously this is a quadrant. You can only fit 5 items in the quadrant, and then there's this. You have the little toggle. For ages, I didn't realise this toggle thing was here, and so there's some things that you're supposed to be. Some items, obviously that was not to level 18, but when you're planting, there are some types of crops. I think it was the corn, and for ages, for like probably about a week, I didn't realise you could toggle to, and that was where the that item was hiding. So that seems like, from a design point of view, that's really obvious. It's not obvious because there's so much stuff going on here. There's so much graphical interface stuff, and this is blue like that. Mr. User Interface guy, we need to think about that. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is the long view where I play free-to-play mobile games and try and give some creative criticism. So yeah, Farmville 3, basic thumbs up. Needs to be sped up in this kind of level, from level 10 onwards, I think needs to be looked at. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're interested in free-to-play mobile games. But otherwise, thanks for watching this one. Hope to see you again soon.